Hello guys. So today we are going to discuss about another topic in the urinary system, the urinary bladder. So this urinary bladder basically stores the urine which was formed in the kidney, and from the kidney it enters the urinary bladder through ureter. So this ureter enters the urinary bladder posteriorly at an oblique angle and forms urethral orifices within the urinary bladder. And this urethral orifices, which I have denoted in green color, are slit-like rather than rounded. Okay, so the shape of this urethral orifice is slit-like, and it will make an oblique angle, and this shape prevents the backflow of the urine into the ureter or kidney when the urinary bladder contracts. Okay, and this process is whole process of contraction and backflow of the urine from the urinary bladder into the ureter is known as vesicoureteral reflux. The urinary bladder is a hollow muscular organ that stores urine prior to the urination, and this urine comes from the kidney and it will be stored in the urinary bladder, and it lies in the pelvic cavity posterior to the pubic bone, and it sits below the parietal peritoneum. And the average capacity of urinary bladder is around 400 to 600 ml. That means on an average a person can hold up to 400 to 600 ml of urine in the urinary bladder, and the superior surface of the urinary bladder is covered by a layer called peritoneum layer. Okay, and the lower portion of the urinary bladder is covered by a layer called adventitia, which we will discuss later. And the entire wall of the urinary bladders have a series of ridges. Okay, and this ridges is nothing but thick mucosal folds. Okay, these ridges will be there everywhere in the walls of the urinary bladder, except for the area which is bounded by these red colors. Okay, and these ridges are known as rugae, and these rugae are allowing for the expansion of the urinary bladders. And this triangular region bounded by this red color where rugae are not present, this is known as trigone. Okay, and it allows the smooth uh, smooth traveling of the urine from the urinary bladder into the urethra. And in this trigone area only, generally the urinary infection generally tend to develop. And when we come inferior of the urinary bladder, we find at the junction of this urinary bladder and the urethra, the smooth muscle of the bladder walls. This is the smooth muscle of the bladder wall will form the internal sphincter muscle. Okay, internal urethral sphincter, and generally this internal urethral sphincter is under involuntary control. And if we further move down, we find another structure, another sphincter known as external sphincter muscle, and generally this is basically made up of skeletal muscle. So this sphincter is under the voluntary control. And if we do a cross section, if we take a cross section of the bladder wall, the urinary bladder wall of the urinary bladder, we basically find three layers, just like in the ureter. The inner layer being the mucosa, okay, which is depicted in this yellow color. So this is the mucosa, and the second layer is the lamina propria, which is depicted in green color, and the third layer is muscularis layer. And just like ureter, there will be an superficial layer of adventitia. The mucosa is composed of transitional epithelium, which helps in the stretching during the filling of urine. And then the next layer, lamina propria, is basically consist of areolar connective tissue, just like ureter, and with some amount of collagen and elastic fibers and lymphatic tissues. And the third one is the muscularis layer, and this muscularis layer is also known as detrusor muscle in the urinary bladder. Okay, and this tetrasaur muscle, this muscularis layer, has three subdivision, has divided into three sublayers. Just like in the ureter, we have two sublayers of muscularis. Here we have three sublayers. The inner and outer being the longitudinal, and the middle layer is the circular layer. And the superficial layer, that is adventitia, composed of your areolar connective tissue, just like the ureter. And remember that this adventitia is the superficial coating in the posterior and inferior surface of the urinary bladder, whereas in the superior surface of the urinary bladder there is another superficial layer which is known as visceral peritoneum, which we have already discussed before. And with this we have completed today's topic on urinary bladder. I hope you have enjoyed the video and gained some knowledge on the topic. So if you like the video, please do press the like button, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you have not done it till now, so that I can share more videos like this with you guys. And thank you for listening to my lecture patiently. Thank you very much.